If you work with AWS, you already know it's incredibly powerful, but man, can it be complex. Building, deploying, operating, it can feel like you're trying to navigate a giant maze. So what if you had an expert guide with you every single step of the way? Okay, let's get into it because that is the exact promise of Amazon Q Developer.
Just think about that for a second. Instead of spending your day digging through documentation or trying to remember some obscure command you used 6 months ago, what if you could just ask in plain English? That's the huge idea we're going to unpack today, a totally conversational way to interact with the entire AWS ecosystem.
So what is this thing, really? Well, Amazon Q Developer is a generative AI assistant, but it's been built from the ground up for the AWS world. And here's the real kicker. It's not some separate app you have to go find. It's designed to be right there with you, exactly where you're already working, whether that's in your code editor, on the command line, or right inside the AWS console itself.
All right, let's kick things off where most of us spend our days, writing code. Amazon Q is trying to be way more than just a fancy autocomplete. The goal here is for it to be a real partner in the whole development process.
Okay, this is where things get really cool. You can go from just a high-level idea to actual working code in just a few steps. You start by describing a feature you want to build, in plain language. Q then breaks that down into a logical plan. And then it actually generates the code to make it happen, all while keeping you in the driver's seat for approval. It's all about speeding up that first, often slowest part of getting started.
And it's not just for writing brand new code. You can give it super practical everyday commands just like this one. You can ask it to take existing code and make it better, faster, more efficient, and then, and this is so critical, it'll write the test to prove that the changes actually work and didn't break anything. I mean, think about the hours that saves.
We're not just talking about one little feature here. This is a whole suite of tools. You've got everything from security scans and automated testing to help with debugging and even massive lifts like upgrading your entire project from an old version of Java to a new one. It's a comprehensive toolkit right inside your IDE.
Okay, so Q is great with code, but what about the enormous, sprawling cloud environment that all that code has to run in? Well, that brings us to our next section. This is where Q becomes your personal navigator for the entire AWS ecosystem.
The classic AWS problem, right? There are literally hundreds of EC2 instance types, and they're all optimized for different things. Picking the right one can seriously feel like throwing a dart in the dark. Do you need more memory? More CPU? A balance of the two? And how the heck does cost fit into all of that?
And this is just a brilliant example of the solution. Instead of scrolling through a giant, endless list, you just tell Q what you need. You describe your workload, what your priorities are, like maybe price is more important than raw performance, and bam, it gives you a short, totally relevant list of suggestions. It turns a painful research project into a simple chat.
And it's not just about choosing new stuff. Q also helps you figure out what you already have. You can ask these simple, direct questions about your account without having to click through 5 different pages in the console. It just brings the info right to you.
Now, this little detail is so important. Amazon Q actually understands context. You don't have to repeat yourself. It remembers you were just talking about S3 buckets, so your follow-up questions can be short and natural, just like you were talking to a human colleague who has a perfect memory.
Okay, so we've covered building and navigating. Let's shift gears to operating. Because when things go wrong in the cloud, finding the root cause can feel like a super high-pressure race against time. QCub is designed to be your co-pilot in exactly those situations.
Oh man, we have all been there. You get some cryptic error message like access denied exception. What in the world does that actually mean? Well, Amazon Q translates these machine-readable errors into plain English, tells you exactly what permission is missing, and can even give you the specific policy you need to add to fix it. This turns moments of total frustration into a quick fix.
And check out how this can completely change incident response. An alarm goes off in CloudWatch. Instead of just telling you there's a problem, Q gets to work. It automatically digs around for related signals, like weird errors in your logs. It'll form a hypothesis, like, hey, this probably has to do with that code you just deployed. And then it suggests a concrete fix. It connects all the dots for you, fast. And its reach here is pretty broad. It can help you figure out why 2 services inside your VPC can't talk to each other, explain a sudden, scary spike in your AWS bill, or even help you create a support ticket to get a human involved when you're really stumped.
So remember how we said at the start that one of the most powerful things about Amazon Q is that it's not some single destination. It's designed to be woven directly into the tools and workflows you already use every day.
I mean, just look at the scope of this ecosystem. You can get to Q from inside your IDE like VS Code. You can talk to it in chat apps like Slack and Teams. It's there for you on the command line. It's all over the AWS console and even the mobile app. And it's even popping up in third-party tools like GitLab. The whole point is to bring the assistant to you, not make you go looking for it.
For anyone who lives in the terminal, this is a total game changer. You can just type out a description of what you're trying to do, and Amazon Q will translate that into the correct shell command. No more trying to remember complex syntax or all those little flags.
Okay, this feature is honestly kind of magical. It's a fantastic way to bridge that gap between doing something manually and automating it. You can just perform a set of actions in the AWS console, say setting up a new server, and Q will literally watch what you click and automatically generate the code to automate that exact task for you in the future.
So, after digging into all these different features, let's just pull back for a second and think about the big picture. What does all of this really mean for the future of how we build things on the cloud?
So if you boil it all down, it really comes down to this. Amazon Q is all about removing friction at every single stage of the journey. It's about letting you code faster by turning your ideas into real implementation plans. It's about managing this massively complex environment using simple, natural language. It's about solving problems in minutes instead of hours. And crucially, it does all of this by meeting you right where you already are.
And that really leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on. When you have an AI assistant that's this deeply woven into every part of the development and operations lifecycle, well, it doesn't just make the old tasks easier. It really opens the door to entirely new ways of building things. What becomes possible when the crushing complexity of the cloud is hidden behind a simple conversation? That, I think, is the new frontier we're all just beginning to explore.